lecture. And before we get in today's lecture, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button and notification button, and also share my channel with one person you personally know, and just have them to check out my YouTube channel, check out a couple of my videos. It can even be one or two of my shorts, and let them make the decision on whether or not they want to subscribe. All I need for you to do is to share my channel with one person you personally know in the real world. Notice I said the real world. So with that being said, let's get down to today's exciting lecture. The focus of this lecture is going to be the causes of stress in this problem-focused world. The causes of stress in this problem-focused world. You know, unfortunately, the world really is problem-focused, and it does take deliberate skills to have a solution-focused mindset in a problem-focused world, and I'm here to tell you. So, for example, some of these causes of stress in this problem-focused world is the kids won't stop screaming, or your boss has been hounding you because you turned a report in late. Or you may owe the Internal Revenue Service thousands of dollars you do not have. You're seriously stressed out about this in this problem-focused world. Stress is actually a normal part of life. At times, it serves as a useful purpose. Stress can motivate you to get that promotion at work or run that last mile of a marathon. But if you don't get a handle on your stress and it becomes long-term, you know, this is a caveat to my lecture I did yesterday. So if you don't get a handle on your stress and it becomes long-term, it can seriously interfere with your job, your family, your life, your health. More than half Americans say that they fight with friends and loved ones because of stress. And more than 70% say that they experience real physical and emotional symptoms from it. So listen on to this live stream lecture to learn why you get stressed out and how that stress might be affecting your health. Some of these causes of stress, everyone has different stress levels, different stress triggers. Work stress tops the list, believe it or not. According to surveys, 40% of U.S. workers admit to experience work stress. You know, people are still getting up and going on jobs, it doesn't matter on what you hear that everybody may be working from home or making all this money on YouTube or these social media platforms, but people are still getting up and having to go to work on these jobs. 1/4 say work is the biggest source of stress in their lives. Some causes of stress can include being unhappy in your job. You know, you got a lot of people in this world who are going to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week and unhappy in that job. But they got to do it because they got a family to take care of, bills to take care of, kids to get through college. Having a heavy workload or too much responsibility on the job, working long hours, having poor management, unclear expectations of your job, or no say in the decision-making process. Working under dangerous conditions. You know, these are real life issues in relation to some of the conditions and reasons of stress that people have on these jobs. Being insecure about your chance for advancement or risk of termination. Having to give speeches in front of colleagues, facing discrimination or harassment at work, especially if your company isn't supportive, the job isn't supportive. Life stressors can also have a big impact. Examples of life stress are the death of a loved one, divorce, loss of a job, increased financial obligations, getting married, moving to a new home, or selling a home. And also, interestingly enough, another example of a stressor, if you approach it this way, if you approach it this way in terms of being a content creator, being stressed out by a content creator, if you approach it with the approach of you're losing yourself in the world of social media. For some people who lose themselves in the world of social media, it causes a level of stress for them because they get in the danger game of comparing themselves with what they see in these fake worlds of social media. So it has a direct impact on anxiety and depression and causes stress for individuals who lose themselves in the world of social media, especially when they're a content creator. And there are many content creators out there who literally lose themselves in the world of social media. I can remember a few months ago, I just ran across this channel, this individual who's a content creator, and I looked at some of his earlier content, which was on point. It was positive, inspiring, motivational. But as time went on, I began to see a regression in what the individual was presenting, the words that were coming out of his mouth, the behavior. I'm a licensed clinician, so I'm skilled to be able to assess emotional problems, substance abuse problems. So when a person is displaying, clinical type behavior that is a concern on a social media platform, and I saw that dissension in his various videos, and that was a good example of an individual losing themselves in the world of social media, and it can have a negative impact on the emotional, the mental, and etc. Another examples of life stressors could be chronic illness or injury. Emotional problems, again, such as depression, anxiety, anger, grief, guilt, low self-esteem can be causes of stressors in a person's life. Taking care of an elderly or sick family member can be cause of life stressors. Traumatic events such as national disaster, theft, or violence against you or a loved one. So there are many things that you can do to deal with stress, such as keeping all your doctor's appointments, eating healthy food, talking with a counselor or a trusted, supported friend, exercise, taking vitamins, getting plenty of sleep. Those are some many things that you can do to deal with everyday life stressors, and having a balance, deplugging from social media. There should be a balance. There's positive with social media, but social media can become a negative if you let it consume your everyday life to the point where you literally have lost touch with reality. I've read stories where people have become so obsessed with social media, they have lost their job, they're not taking care of their home, they're not taking care of the kids, they've lost their kids to social media because they're so glued to the world of social media, they have literally lost touch with reality. That's why a lot of employers, many employers have incorporated policies and procedures in place where you cannot be on your smartphone when you are at work, when you're supposed to be performing the essential functions of your job. I've got family members who have lost many good jobs, making $27, $30, $31 an hour with full benefits, have lost many jobs because they cannot stay off that phone. Employers are not paying people to be on their phone when they're supposed to be performing the job duties and functions. I'm going to use my employer, for example. I work for state government. And in the division I work at, for years, they got a policy in place. And I'm a supervisor. They got policies in place where we cannot even bring that cell phone in the facility. They don't want it in your pocketbook. They don't want it in your purse. They don't want it in your desk. They don't want we cannot bring it in the building. If you get caught with that cell phone, that can be grounds for immediate termination. These people are not playing enough is enough. And how we communicate with each other, of course, with our office phone, and everybody got radios, the radios, old school way in terms of how to communicate with each other, but they have and they implement and enforce that policy. We cannot bring it in the building. We have to leave it in our car. And if you accidentally have it in your purse or have it in your wallet, you better turn your behind around and hurry up and go put that cell phone in your car, because my employer is not playing it. I'm a supervisor, and I'm here to tell you. So employers are getting fed up with this in terms of people being on that their smartphone for 8 hours out of the 8-hour shift and getting behind on their work and missing due dates. And I'm here to tell you. So, again, that social media, that whole social media piece for people who have lost themselves in the world, or the fake world of social media, has a direct impact on a level of stress for people who approach it from that standpoint. And I'm here to tell you, you got to be deplugged. You got to have a balance. Get out there and smell the roses. Have real conversations. Enjoy your family. Know what's going on in your household, and etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have gotten something out of this powerful lecture in terms of causes of stress in this problem-focused world. And I noticed I got one of my supporters who have chimed in on this lecture. I appreciate that. My style of live stream lecture is live stream versus live stream dialogue, but I do want to acknowledge my supporters who are chiming in and watching. I appreciate that. If you have not subscribed, please hit my subscribe button and notification button. And also, just to let the viewer know, I'm going to put in the description of this video the link to the radio interview I had with a world-renowned radio station based out of New York in October of 2020. They interviewed Marie Holliday, me, the author, on the concept of this book. They dug deep and asked me questions about my book. Please check out that radio interview. And if you have not purchased my book, this is a must-read book for 2023 in regards to where I share my spiritual awakening in regards to how God gave me the skills to master my money, to control my money, and rise above my financial situation. There's an area in this book where I literally talk about that 24 spiritual battle with God in 2012. So check it out. This book can be purchased by Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Apple, iTunes, Google Play. The soft copy of the book is $12.95. In the ebook version of the book is $9.99. And pretty soon, this published work will be available in audio book. So that's all I have. Simplify, Simple Fidelis. And I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.